My name is Colin McNaughton, and today we're going to be talking about the solution between Event-Driven Ansible and Bigpanda. Now, Event-Driven Ansible is a component of the Ansible automation platform, and it allows us to react to events coming in real time. Bigpanda is incredibly valuable to this solution because they offer up high-level, highly actionable events for Event-Driven Ansible to key in on. We have Joe Pisciotta, Principal Product Manager for Event-Driven Ansible. Joe, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Hey, everybody. So Joe Pisciotta, again, Principal Product Manager for Event-Driven Ansible. Had some experience in the past few years designing event-driven solutions for many of our customers, including in the financial services space, and been working more recently with Blair on the Bigpanda integration between Event-Driven Ansible and Bigpanda. So Blair, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Absolutely. Blair Sibille, Field Chief Technology Officer for Bigpanda. I work in the Office of Innovation. I have a long career of building integrations with companies such as Red Hat, but this was very unique, especially with it coinciding with the release of Event-Driven Ansible and what we were able to do and build together and actually answer some systemic problems that both of our customers have been having with kind of getting event-driven automation off the launch pad.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Joe and Blair, the guest of honor today. So I just wanted to run through a couple of questions here, just a handful of questions to kind of tease out the details of this really exciting solution that we've been able to bring to market over the past bit here. So first one, I'm going to start with Joe here because I think we need to level set. In a few words, Joe, can you talk to us a little bit about Event-Driven Ansible and what this enables for automation within an organization?
Yeah, absolutely. So traditionally, Ansible is a great tool for working with a number of our technologies in order to automate changes or tasks to complete automation tasks. However, with Event-Driven Ansible, what you're really able to do is not only do task automation, but do operational automation. So ops as code. So taking what a system administrator might decide based on events that they're seeing from their observability platforms and monitoring tools, and decide when to take action, when to do the automation of those tasks that Ansible can traditionally do itself. So what we're doing with Event-Driven Ansible is having a decisioning capability to say, okay, we saw this happen in your environment. And with that knowledge, we're able to connect that to a remediation or a scaling operation, something of that sort, in order to make your environments simpler to run, increase the speed to remediation, decrease operational overload of people's time management, and things like that.
Awesome, Joe. Thank you for that. Now, Blair, on the Bigpanda side, can you give us in a few words, what is Bigpanda?
Yeah, number one, it's a very creative name, and I love our logo and brand. But outside of that, Bigpanda is and the only pure play AIOps platform on the market today. So it is a AI-driven operations management platform at its core. We allow our customers and enable them to build a centralized strategy around, think of IT ops as data, especially in the automation world. We don't tend to think about incidents, we think about payloads. So think about it in the sense of that. We standardize and integrate with over 400 enterprise tools to date. We've never met a tool that we couldn't integrate with. We're extremely agnostic because that's all we do. We build a framework so that you can centralize a strategy around your incident management. Tickets, like you said before, are incidents, Colin, right? We build a smart event, but what we actually do is build a smart incident that could contain hundreds of events, right? Hence the importance of Event-Driven Ansible, because an event can be anything. And you want to respond in kind to one of those events with automation, and it gives that ability to really do that. So what we do is, and I think for Ansible customers in particular, is we want you to scale to the problem, not to the noise. So first and foremost, we compress, we reduce noise of all of the observability tools, ITSM tools, CMDBs, topology information, and we enrich those payloads with runtime variables, really, to use a term that we're all familiar with Ansible, in order to drive operations in a more intelligent fashion, really embracing AI in order to help us optimize and run more efficiently. Having an agnostic approach, much like Ansible has an agnostic approach to automation and its capabilities, I think that's something that both of our customers enjoy the most, right? That no matter what, if they change course, they change vendors, so on and so forth, that their information stays with them and it's openly available, allowing our customers to really treat their data as a currency in order to make decisions, I think is what's most important. The other thing is one of the pillars of our platform is pragmatism when it comes to AI. If AI is making a suggestion through analytics or, correlation patterns or root cause when it comes to changes or using generative AI to arrive at a decision, we're going to let you know why, and we're going to allow you to train it in order to be more accurate. We all know that accuracy and security is key, especially when it comes to even automating. And I think what we can uniquely do with Ansible in the mix is understand what value automation and a smarter incident management process is going to bring and how you can communicate that success. We want to be able to close that loop for you.
Joe, I know you and Blair have been incredibly hands-on in creating this solution. Joe, can you tell us a little bit about, explain to me the importance of this solution and this partnership?
Yeah, sure. So with Event-Driven Ansible, what we're not really trying to be is an event bus or an aggregator of all monitoring events in an environment, all metrics within an environment. And I think that that's where we see value in the partnership with Bigpanda, is because we don't need to necessarily do any of that analysis. Bigpanda is uniquely qualified to do that root cause analysis and give us actionable intelligence that you can directly tie to an action, whether that's updating tickets or whether that's actually performing remediation itself. We're able to really take the information coming from Bigpanda and tie that directly without needing to do too much of the decision making ourselves. We're able to leverage Bigpanda's knowledge about what's going on in the environment to really just close that loop.
Okay, so it sounds like, it's all about choosing the best of breed for that particular problem is really like a highlight of this solution. Now, back to Blair. Blair, I understand that you are, certifying some Ansible content collections. Can you tell us what it is, what's available now and what's coming in the future?
Sure, absolutely. So we built two native integrations inside of Bigpanda, one with Ansible Automation Platform directly, and one with EDA as an endpoint, so Event-Driven Ansible as an endpoint. We've released both of those integrations, and our collections right now contain a bunch of different action modules. I never want your developers to have to crack open our API guide. I want you to be able to write nimble pieces of automation interacting with Bigpanda, and in turn, because Bigpanda's integrating with all of your observability tools, your ticketing platform, so on and so forth. The great thing is that any of the other collections that are, inside of the Ansible library already work out of box with us as well, because we're preserving those payloads, preserving those events, and we're doing those interactions as well. So it's an extension of that collection. But some of the things that we're going to be focused on in the next coming months is building a brand new we do have a default one, but a brand new event bus integration that is an event plugin for EDA, so that when we do send you that beautiful, incident or payload from Bigpanda that could contain multiple different alerts, we want to be able to allow you to manipulate those payloads in any way and nimble inside of it. You're capable of doing it today, but let's just make it easier for you, right? So this is going to continue. We're going to continue to develop, and I think Joe and I are very interested to see what you use it for.
All right, last question for both Blair and Joe. I want to know a little bit more about this solution. Where do I go first? Joe?
For Event-Driven Ansible, you can go to ansible.com/event-driven. There's tons of links there for labs, for development resources, learning materials, and there's also materials on what integrations we have, such as the Bigpanda integration.
And Blair?
Sure. I believe right now on your screen is a QR code. Please join me and Joe very soon here for a longer webinar that will go very in depth with how to execute this integration. But the whole purpose of this webinar is really to identify 4 problems and barriers to entry when it comes to getting an event-driven automation project off the launch pad, right? And 4 answers. Right. So we're not just going to be talking about the problem, but actually the solution and how our 2 platforms work together in order to solve that for you. So we look forward to seeing you guys join us for the live webinar in the new year.
All right. Excellent. Thank you both very much for joining us today. And I'm really looking forward to that webinar to see you all again.
Thank you.